What is up, NFL fans? It is your boy Kevin Phillips Fox here with the Legit Football NFL podcast, and I just can't express to you the relief in my body, in my bones, that we're getting the show off this week. Because if the universe had its way with Wi-Fi issues, time zone differences, steakhouse shifts, we would not be here. But we have persevered, myself and Adrian Revito, and he is right here from Down Under, live. Adrian, how the hell are you?
The universe wants us here, and I think that's quite clear because there was a bunch of stuff going on, and I'm feeling fantastic. I don't know about you.
You know what? I almost feel a little bit better the day closer to football. Like I feel a little bit more, like I feel that juice in my bones a little bit more.
Well, we're lucky we did because otherwise I would have had some hot Sam Darnold takes, but Brock Purdy's just cleared protocol, so you
Oh,
know.
they saved us. No, we saved ourselves from looking like idiots. I was actually just listening to one of my favorite podcasts from Thursday, and they're like, "Well, prepare for Sam Darnold to start." And I'm like, "You don't even know."
Listen to our pod, mate. Get the real info.
It's just so funny how hindsight makes you a genius or an idiot, depending. But we're here, man, and we have an awesome show for the people. We love doing this. This is one of our favorite, the preview show, the recap show. And where better to start, Adrian, than right on that Thursday Night Football recap? Oh, Vikings stunning. Actually, we're going back in time a little bit more.
I know how excited you are to get to
You
the
know how
Thursday night
excited I
recap.
am because yeah, obvious reasons. Anyways,
We can touch on this one because it's
Adrian,
old news now.
this is a pretty big story though, because the Vikings were looking like one of the biggest dumpster fires, looking like the tanking for Caleb Williams team, and they go out there, Kirk Cousins on prime time, where you don't usually see the best version of Kirk Cousins, and they go out there and they outduel and outplay, for lack of a better term, they outplayed the 49ers. This wasn't a fluky couple good bounces here and there. They really took it to them. And what are your thoughts? What's your hot hitting instant take analysis on this game?
Yeah, the instant analysis is, you know what, Kirk Cousins just like he must drive you mad as a Vikings fan because there's like some games where he comes out like this and he balls out. He looked fantastic. Had no Justin Jefferson, just Jefferson's on the sideline. Jordan Addison looked amazing. He's throwing to Brandon Powell and KJ Osborne, and you're like where is this guy every week? Why can't you? If you did this every week, and as a Packers fan, I don't want that. But as a football fan,
Yeah.
like he's fantastic. Like, and I think I said this very early on. Like at his highs, he's like top five, but in his
Yeah.
lows, is like middle of the pack.
Or even bottom five. He has had
Yeah,
some
I
atrocious
had some
games.
stinkers.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. So I definitely think there's more to glean from this. I think panic button for the 49ers coming off of two losses to significantly inferior teams. They lost to a third string quarterback and Kirk Cousins in a matter of 7 days. I think you do
yeah,
have to have
insane.
a little bit of fear. I would probably say 4 or 5 for the 49ers panic button. And then Purdy's health and his slight decline in play. I do think you have to pay attention. There's some rumblings that maybe the book is out on Purdy. I don't know how true I find that to be personally, because I don't know what kind of book you can have for a quarterback who has a literal checklist in his head on every play. And I don't mean that as a knock, right? Most people say that and they are trying to besmirch Brock Purdy's game. That's not me. I think being the kind of person, being the kind of player who can be a checklist quarterback, I think that's damn impressive. It takes really impressive mental processing skills.
Yeah, I look. I mean, I think I don't think the panic button is my opinion. I don't think it's there yet. I think you played the Browns, who have a phenomenal defense. They really rattled Purdy. Flores has done amazing work.
Yeah.
Besides Jim Schwartz for the Browns, Flores has probably been the biggest upgraded coordinator. He schemes up these crazy things where he disguises coverage, and for a new quarterback, that's the kind of thing that Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes might pick apart. But for someone like Brock Purdy, he's still got room to grow. Let's not forget he was the last pick in the draft. So um, I would say, I'd say I'm at a 3, but
Okay.
I'll say they've also got the Bengals coming up, and if they lose that panic button's going sky high.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. But it's very possible that they do. This is kind of a must-win game for both teams, I feel. The 49ers are trying to assert themselves as the toast of the NFL, and the Bengals are trying to scrap and claw their way out of the basement from a bad start. So it's going to be a really interesting little, back and forth. I wouldn't sleep on either team, but I think the Bengals are going to come out really inspired. I really do.
Yeah, and you're right on the money that it's must win for both of them, and whoever doesn't win is going to be that's have the talking heads rumbling that they're falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, 3 losses in a row for a 49ers team that looked like they were gonna challenge the '85 Bears,
Yeah.
it would be something. But that being said, we know there are bigger fish to fry here, Adrian, because my Buffalo Bills. Oh, we have call your
Okay.
shot. Check it.
No, no, no,
Hey,
no. Give us the
I'm
let's
just
talk
out of order,
Buffalo
bro.
Bills.
I just until I talk about my Bills, I can't move on with the show.
Let's
So
let's do Bills first. Let's lay it
we'll
on.
just mix up the order a little bit. Adrian sends me these really thoughtful, hard produced notes and documents, and I just say, I take one look at them and I say, got it. It's all right here. And then it's not. Just like I used to tell my
I'm
directors that I had all
sure
my lines memorized.
I'm sure you read those essays in Twitter and your eyes roll to the literal back of your head, like they're somewhere around here.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not
we good.
I'm not a what do they call those things? You see those think pieces that are coming out on Twitter now?
I have as in those essay pieces that are
Yes.
yeah,
I can't
yeah.
do it. I don't I need 140 characters or less.
Max, max.
Max.
I'll know for
Um
now.
No, but Adrian, your work is noticed, and we appreciate you, obviously. But that being said, Adrian, what did you think of the Buccaneers and the Bills game? I'll let you go first on this one.
Yeah. So look, it was closer than we expected at the end there, but I'll be honest with you, I was never super worried actually.
Yeah,
At when it was, and I think the score was 24-10. And Josh Allen, and this is the Josh Allen experience. Unfortunately, sometimes it kills you. But in games like this, where he sort of takes over, he ran for it. His tud that he ran in was amazing.
beautiful.
Um, and then it gets to sort of 24-10. Now, full context here, I had a parlay on that had over 34.5 points. And I'm like, oh my God, that was like one of the few things I needed left.
So you must have
And I
been
was like,
so happy when the
well, they're on 34. And then the Buccaneers take like 9 minutes off
that
the
was
clock.
so
And
stupid. That drive
oh
was
my God.
ridiculous.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what was going on with Todd Bowles. Even Dave Canales, I think, is the play caller for them. Look, I think Baker's looked worse than this. He was okay. There was one
Yeah,
Mike Evans throw that he was wide open, got pulled back by um, a flag,
yeah.
and speaking of flag, the Bills kind of shooting themselves in the foot in that long drive, turning
Oh,
over 2 4th downs to first. That must have been driving you
atrocious.
insane.
Oh,
Yeah,
atrocious. Yeah. I
but
think your
aside that
analysis.
blip, that
Yeah.
was safe. Yeah,
No, I think your analysis is spot on, bro, because I think it didn't feel as good as we wanted it to feel. Look, Bills were looking for a get right game. And I think for all intents and purposes, for 52, 53 minutes of that 60-minute game,
exactly.
they delivered that get right game. Their defense looked like it was the unstoppable force that we thought it would be. The offense was electric. Josh was running. Dalton Kincaid looks every bit the part.
Oh, so good.
And I got called a madman for saying I would still take him over Laporta in Dynasty, but I feel good about that take as of today. Um, it's a tough call. They're both really good. They both had really
Mm.
good rookie years, but I think Khalil Shakir, Gabe Davis, James Cook, the utilization across the board was everything you wanted it to be from the offense. A little conservative in the fourth quarter. I didn't particularly mind too much that they didn't press and go for it on those plays because of how well their defense was playing. Now it does the Monday morning quarterbacks, or in this case, I guess Friday morning, and also the hindsight geniuses. It looks like they should have gone for at least one of those just to sort of drive the wooden stake through the heart
Just
of the
put it away.
Buccaneers.
Yeah.
They didn't, and they hung around, and it did come to the last play, which it shouldn't have, which was absolutely sickening. Chris Godwin turns around fraction of a second earlier, and this is a different conversation. You know,
And a heartbreaking conversation like
oh,
that.
and I'm like, and I'm dejected, and I might not have made the show. I might still be recovering today on Saturday.
How's
But that
Todd
being said,
Bowles? Oh,
yeah.
sorry, go. No, no, no.
Well,
Finish,
I was
finish.
just gonna say that being said, my panic button on the Bills was at a 6 prior, and I think I'm comfortably down to about a 4 now. I think they have they have a really tough schedule the rest of the way. They play the Bengals next Monday night. So that's gonna be a barn burner. Back in Cincinnati, the place where the DeMar Hamlin incident took place. So there's gonna be a lot of heart from everybody. It's gonna be a really intense week of preparation and getting ready for a tough matchup. But as I've always said, I do believe that I'll take 17 over anyone. I just believe in him so much. So, Age, last thoughts before we move this puppy on.
Yeah, two things is that how's Todd Bowles gone for the 2 points? That was
Gutsy,
uncharacteristically Todd Bowles. He's
good
so
call.
conservative. Um, and I think you might have the Bengals next. Look, if last season anything to go by, were team 17-0 after the 49ers? So I think that
Um,
was some crazy stat.
say again.
I think last season teams were 0-17 following when they played the 49ers,
Oh, wow.
who the Bengals currently play. So
Oh, I
it was
like
some
it.
crazy stats. So you
Thanks
might be
for
in luck.
bringing that out. Yeah, that's a little reason for optimism. I love
All
that.
right.
All right. Well, hey, we crushed that. Let's check in on our call your shot. So Adrian and I earlier in the season we did a call your shot segment on the Legit Football NFL podcast, and we're gonna check in on those numbers. Adrian has them. He's the bookkeeper of the two of us. So
Hold that
Adrian,
thought.
there it
Here they
is.
are. So
Um,
let's start with the first prop because I have something that I've been waiting. You know,
I
I've
know
been
you
waiting on
hate
this one.
him. You hate him.
And hold that thought. Are we there? It is. By week 7 of this season, OBJ will not have a game over 80 yards, and he will have an average yards per game of under 60 by week 7. Actually,
Okay.
under 50.
Across the board, Adrian's hatred
I,
for OBJ rages on.
I've been waiting for that one.
I
Baby.
love
That
it.
felt good. That's probably the only one that I nailed because if I'll just finish one off quickly. Packers 3.5 wins in the first 5 games. That is a major,
No,
major
sir.
loss. Yeah, no, that sucks.
It was close. They had a moment. It looked like
Yeah,
they might.
Calvin Ridley is not looking like he's going to hit 1,400 yards and 10 TDs with his 360 and 2 currently. And Trevor Lawrence MVP.
It's got
Eh,
some
eh.
back half potential.
And I'll take the ban off just so you can see. And I had Stetson Bennett. I had a weird prop where Stetson Bennett comes in to save the day at week 6. Not happening. Matt Stafford's playing out of his mind.
Hilarious. I always thought that one was a little bold, but not so far so good. You know, you're solid on the one. I mean,
Yeah.
your most
You take
bold
the wins
part.
where you can get, right?
Yeah, your most bold one. So I'll say, looks like OBJ. So he's currently at 162. My over was 575.5. I do still feel okay about that. I think that's possible.
Possible.
Bijan over 1075. He's at 404. I do think I think that's gonna cash.
I'm
I
worried about this one because Bijan is just criminally underused. I
But
don't know
think about
what.
it though. He's losing a whole game with the head injury, with the headache. So he's on
Hmm.
pace for more. He probably would have closer to 500 at that point. We're not halfway through the season, so I feel good about the Bijan one.
Next one's a
The
lock.
Texans one was just like I was just so confident that the Texans were going to be this ascending team this year. They proved to be who I thought they were, and they're 3-3, and if they get the dub that they should get this weekend, that'll move them to 4-3, and that will put them in prime striking position to make
Who
me
they
the
got?
Christmas
Panthers
game.
this week? They
Yeah,
got Panthers this week.
they
Yeah.
should take
They
care of
should not
business
go out.
there.
Mm.
And then Texans and Falcons to make the playoffs. Yeah,
Close.
looking like
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I'm feeling
Fal-
damn good, Age.
Falcons top of the NFC South. Texans, they got the Jags to beat, but I feel they'll sneak in for a wild card.
Yeah, I'm feeling damn good about these
Looking
ones.
good.
So fun little check in there. Glad we did that. Did we have any score predictions on the money last week or any close?
Nah, there was one game that I got the scores right, just the wrong way around. I think it was the Steelers game.
That's
So
funny.
take
Those
what I
damn
can get.
Steelers, man. It's hard to call those games. I'm excited for our segment today. Do we have anything else prior to our preview section?
We do not. We're
Let's
into the
freaking
preview
go,
now.
Age. This is my new favorite part of our legit football NFL podcast because Adrian and I really get to expose the bathrobe, to
Oh
quote
yeah.
the Aussie over here. We get the chance to show you really what we think of these teams, and talking through it really
Welcome
makes
to Australian Slang, the Adrian Rovito story.
and I'm telling you guys, I use these in my day-to-day life now. People around me are like, "What is this idiot talking about?" And I'm like, "Don't talk about Adrian like that, okay?"
Story of my life, bro.
All right, so we have, and who's starting this one today?
This is you.
Oh, thank you. I was hoping this would be me because I got some hot takes about this game. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Pittsburgh, who are 2.5-point dogs at home, Pittsburgh, in an over-under of 42. Adrian, here's my thoughts on this game. The unstoppable force and that immovable object that I talked about are going to clash because the Jaguars offense has come to life in recent weeks. They've looked pretty damn good. That Trevor Lawrence MVP steam is picking up. I don't think it's quite to a place where he's in the top 3 of voting yet, but
Not
it's
yet.
possible. He can get there, I think. He's in striking distance. The Steelers, meanwhile, their defense has been what's been keeping them in games. They've been embracing the ugly win game script, which means stay close enough to get a late turnover and then try to have your game manager QB hit a couple nice throws late in the game. George Pickens is somehow on pace for over 1,400 receiving yards because of his
How?
freakish
How?
acumen for huge plays. I love the over on George Pickens receiving yards this week at 53.5. Feels like free money because he probably could get it on one catch realistically. And I like his chances to get at least 1 or 2 catches. On the Jag side of the ball, Calvin Ridley is on the side of a milk carton. Very sad.
Seriously.
We had a lot of fun with the Calvin Ridley hype train in the preseason. You and me were drinking the Kool-Aid.
I was riding
Um,
that horse
you
like
more
to
than
the
me.
ground.
Yeah, you OD'd on the Calvin Ridley Kool-Aid. I had to check on
I
you, and you were not so
was
good, but
passed out on the bed.
we
Yeah.
got you. We got you in better shape now. I personally think I'm kind of thinking this might be a game that the Steelers hang around in, and I'm kind of thinking they're going to take the upset here. I
Wow, the upset.
I think we might need a little upset noise for future weeks. I'm
Hold
gonna
on, I
go
got
with
one. I got something for you. I got you. I got you. I almost got you. You can tell your score.
I think the Steelers are gonna take this game 21-18.
I was gonna say if you say 16,
Yeah,
um,
that's what I
I
think.
I'm taking the Jags here. I'm gonna take them 21-16.
Oh my god.
Just I love a little stat, especially when Jimmy Ray's not here because he's our NFL stats man. Um, Terrell Austin, their defensive coordinator, the Steelers defensive coordinator, loves to play man coverage. They play it relatively high to anyone in the league, and Lawrence is ranked 24th against man coverage. Top of the class in zone coverage, but man coverage he starts to fall apart. So, little tidbit there. I think the Jags will still take care of business. You're right; they've come to life. They've got a great run defense, so they're going to force Pickett to throw. I think it's going to be the Jags game.
I like it, man. I think that's a solid. I like we're different on our first one. I've told you before, bro. It doesn't always make sense, but Mike Tomlin finds a way.
I know he does. Yeah, I mean they're going to come out of this with a positive record. I don't know how.
100%.
Eagles Commanders. This is so the last time these guys played, the Eagles nearly gave it away. They had to go to OT if I remember right. I think this game depends a lot on Sam Howell because I mean, go figure. But Sam Howell just gets sacked every second, and you've got an Eagles pass rush that have just been balling out, sacking the quarterback. So I think if Sam Howell can make some sort of smart decisions and try and protect himself a little bit, then they can keep it closer than most people would expect. I think most people would be almost predicting a blowout here. But interconference game, division game, it's always a funny one. AJ Brown is. Have you got him in your fantasy team? I don't know. You haven't got AJ Brown, do you?
No,
In
I
your
have
legit?
Stephon Diggs. Are we
Dude,
playing each other this week?
we are.
Oh, and this is the first time it's coming up 18 minutes into the show, Age. What's wrong with us?
And I'm 51% chance to win. So really, I should be jumping on this because I've got a minor advantage.
Age had
Because
a
your boy
huge swing
Josh
from
Allen.
Josh Allen. Josh Allen really, really dominated this weekend. I had Stephon Diggs, who was fine, 8 for 70. You'll take that in a vacuum. But when I'm facing off against my second league rival, I'm gonna call my shot that McFadden is gonna be my league rival.
Yeah, I mean, he's talking too much smack to not be. If he's watching this, if McFadden, if you're watching this show, you're talking so much smack.
Which he obviously is watching the show. So
yeah.
All right. So go on with yours. Sorry.
What I was going to say is AJ Brown is just a cheat code at the moment. Like if you got him in fantasy, he's gone 125 yards plus every single game. So the one thing that I think is going to be the deciding factor of how close they can get, like I said, Sam Howell. They went 1 for 15 on third downs against the Giants. Didn't target McLaurin in the first half of that game for some reason. He still ends up going for 100 because he's McLaurin.
Right.
So I am going to say the Eagles take this, or they'll keep their streak going. Oh no, sorry, I take it back. They've got a streak. The Jets beat them, but I will say it'll be closer than people expect, 28-20.
I like it. Okay, I think closer than people expect is not a bad call. I do foresee the Eagles winning this game, and I'll say pretty decidedly. I'm not too impressed with what I've seen from Sam Howell. I think his leash is shorter than we think. I would not be surprised if by the end of the season we see Brissett in there. I think Age, I'm going to go with Eagles 31, Commanders 20.
31-20. I got to remember to write these down. Yeah, I think, look, Rivera, I think they'll be cleaning house into the season unless they turn it around. But Rivera will do whatever he can to try and keep his job, I guess.
I mean, I would have already pulled the trigger by now. Howell is he's going to be a great backup someday.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a starter personally. Rams at Cowboys. Cowboys are 6-point home favorites, and I like this game. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch, man. And for some weird reason, It's going to be the 10 a.m. game. It's going to be, or for the West Coast, 10 a.m., East Coast, 1 p.m. Adrian, I think that means for you, it's like 2 a.m. or some
Something like that.
outlandish crap like that. It's the early
Ridiculous.
game. It's in the early window, which is something that I'm not used to for the Cowboys. I feel like I'm so used to watching them play either prime time or, in the afternoon slate. So, personally for me, I think the Rams will get more going in this game than people think. I think Puka Nacua is going to have a good game. I love what he's done. The Cowboys secondary is pretty depleted, as we know, with the loss of Trayvon Diggs for the year. I think I'm inclined to say Rams at Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to pull it off because I think their defense is still pretty good. I think the Rams will get more going than people think, but I think Dak will end up getting more going. I foresee a nice little game, maybe some sneaky ground utilization for Dak Prescott. I'm
He's been
looking to
using his legs
see.
a bit more. He's
Yeah,
been
it's nice
using them a
to
bit more.
see. And I want to see more from Tony Pollard, Adrian. I feel like Tony Pollard's been a little bit, not as great as we all thought he was going to be this year. He's been fine. He's been good, but I want a little bit better. So I'm going to say Cowboys take care of business here, win this game 27-17.
I wonder if it's a bit of a curse of spotlight because when he was Ezekiel Elliott's backup, he looked like I was always like, get Elliott out of there and Pollard in. And then now that he's there, you're right, he's middling. I
Those second guys, they get their shot and they realize it's a lot more on their shoulders than it was when they were spelling people.
Correct. So Dallas hasn't lost a home game since the season opener last year, FYI, but they're about to lose this one. Rams 31-30.
Oh, it's a shootout.
Oh yeah, and it's going to be an upset. Mm-hmm.
I see it being a little closer, a little tighter. So you have the over, I have the under. But that's
I would feel like this is going to be a really good game.
Oh yeah,
buried in the early slot, but really good game.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I cannot wait. Your boys, Homer Hill.
Hold on a second.
I know.
I've got a sound for it.
You are ruining people's day, and I'm living for it.
Oh,
I am ruining people's
for you.
day.
You wake up early, you put your clown makeup on, and you root for the Packers this season.
Every single week. That is exactly what I am. I am that meme.
I love it.
All right. Let's talk this game. So the Packers, Jones is listed, or he's still listed as questionable, I think, but he's playing. LaFleur said he's still not 100%, and they'll be
killing me.
Snaps. They need him.
I love
if
it.
Jones is not in, yeah, that's the only thing that's kind of saving them. Jerry Alexander's still questionable. Devondre Campbell's back at practice. Musgrave back at practice. So they've got some pieces coming back. But this is a weird game. Like earlier on, this seemed like it was. So if you went to sort of week 2, maybe 3, it was like, okay, the Packers are going to just romp here, and the Vikings are going to be a dumpster fire. One of these ones, but how the turntables? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you're an Office fan, but how the turntables?
Love that quote. Yeah.
Because Brian Flores, as I mentioned, is just killing opposing quarterbacks, and Jordan Love is not. I don't know if he's going to be able to process all those disguises in the scheme. They blitz like crazy. They're going to make him uncomfortable. The Vikings have a chance here. Really, this is actually. How's this for the Vikings schedule? Packers, Falcons, Saints, Broncos, Bears, Raiders. They have a chance now to kind of really get right and put themselves back in the game. They finish with the Bengals, then the Packers again, and the Lions twice. So they've got to get most of these games. Okay. The fan in me will never pick against the Packers, but analytically, it would be unethical for me to not say the Vikings will probably take this.
I agree.
But I will take the Packers, and I will take them 24-20.
Oh, and I like the score too. You have a very, very sneaky over there. I'm expecting a little more fireworks, and I'm not mad at you for picking the Packers. I think you had I
have to.
I remember when I almost picked the Dolphins over the Bills. You talked me out of it, and I'm glad you did because I ended up winning.
Wish casting, baby.
Yep, wish casting. So I will unfortunately not be riding along with your wish cast there, and I will be taking the Vikings to win. I haven't seen enough from the Packers anywhere really. Like their defense hasn't really been exceptional. Their offense hasn't really been exceptional. They haven't really been great at running the ball. I think the Vikings are going to win this game 34. I'll say 23.
4-23.
Nice little scoring output. I think Jordan Love will have some garbage time production, and maybe I'm always waiting for a big Christian Watson week, Adrian, but he's so inconsistent, man. I'm almost off the train.
You know what's funny? I don't know if I've ever been on the train. Even last year, he became a touchdown machine, but
I've been
it
on it.
was like that was the only time he caught the ball. He was like,
Yeah.
10 yards into the end zone, and that's it. So like, you need to be productive everywhere on the field. You can't just be there
Yeah,
to get the the
he
glory.
sinks me in DFS. I throw him in my lineups as like a dart throw, like hope he gets a long touchdown, and he ends up with like 3 for 9. I
Standard
don't.
and 2 touchdowns somehow. Like, who
Yeah,
knows?
right.
Yeah.
Randomly, sometimes, yeah, but hopefully he gets it together because I'm starting to think he might not be a 1.
Yeah. No, I think look, the Packers need a proper one.
I think
Anyway,
so
enough
too.
about my boys. I will shut up. We
Oh, that's
have
good. Good
our
chat.
our classic, our famous, our featured Dynamite
I
game coming
love the
up.
Dynamite game, and I got the Dynamite game.
Well, I took some advice from my wife here. She watches this show and she gives me advice, and she's normally pretty good with this. She goes, "You should take 30 seconds each." So
Oh, I like that. That's
if
fun.
you're
Your
comfortable,
wife is
I'll
really
take.
smart. I've learned that from her
She's
now
on the
too.
ball.
Yep.
She is on the ball.
Yep.
So if you're comfortable, we'll do 30 seconds each. You can go first. I got the Jets. You got the Giants.
I'd love to.
You tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Put the tape on.
I'm waiting
this
until
tape.
my button gets pressed.
For those who don't know, the Dynamite game gives us a minute to talk about any game before we blow it to pieces because it's going to be garbage. Go.
Tyrod Taylor, the homie. He is the number 2 quarterback in New York, but he's the number 1 quarterback in our hearts. He's going to go out there. I think he's going to perform better than you think he's going to perform. I think Darius Slayton has a chance to have a big play. Jets corners are pretty darn good, but I think that the Giants have just enough on offense. I don't think they're going to win the game, but I think that they will be better than people think they're going to be. I still like the Jets in this game. However, I will spoil my prediction. I think the Jets are going to win this game 24-17.
All right. So Zach Wilson coming into this at 3-3 is probably anywhere that's all you could ask for them to be, with Aaron Rodgers potentially talking about coming back as soon as November, which would be insane. What Zach Wilson is doing different is just not missing these layups, because in last season, he was just throwing terrible moves and just missing layups. Defense is forcing turnovers. They weren't doing that last year. So you can hope that they've got to put this one away, and any other sort of easier games they've got coming up. I'll put the Jets here as well, 20-17, and let's get rid of this game.
Boom. Yeah, I think we nailed it. Normally I'd have some pieces to pick up, but I don't think I need any today. I think we covered that real nicely.
What was your score?
23-20 Jets.
23-20 Jets. All right.
So we're taking the over. We're both taking the over.
Seems that way.
Yeah.
I have one thing I have to do.
Yeah.
Because I haven't done this with you on the show yet.
Oh, here we go. Is this my moment?
This is my moment.
Oh, Armand's here. What's up, Armand? Just in time for the show. We love you, buddy. We are so happy to see you. And it looks like Age is grabbing a prop for the show.
He's so not happy because it's his first.
So, are you kidding me?
After making his debut on the show last week, screaming the house down.
It's so darn cute. It's not even funny. People,
so much
the birth of the podcaster here. We have Adrian Ravito's offspring on the show. For those listening, it's a really entertaining moment. We just have a
get onto the YouTube show.
And beautiful baby just looking into the camera. It's
Confused
wonderful.
Is so accurate. All
Look
right,
at
buddy. That's your second debut on the pod.
That was just an absolutely riveting moment for those of you watching. More riveting for those of you listening. Yeah. All right. Who's got the Falcons?
This is on you, my man.
Back to me.
I gave away the Falcon. I'm off the bandwagon. I'm done.
So breaking news at the start of the show, Mr. Adrian. Titans will not be trading Derrick Henry. They've informed
they will not.
The veteran running back that he is there to stay. So just thought I'd get that out there in this portion. I know it's not smart at all, but maybe it's like a legacy thing. Maybe they're just preserving the love.
But why get rid of Bayard if you're not burnt? You know what? This is yours game. Sorry,
we've talked about it. No, man, the Titans are lost. They're confused. I don't think Vrabel will get fired. I do think that they will keep him through this because of how good of a coach he is. But it's a questionable at best, and I'd say bad at worst look for a team that really doesn't know where they stand in their life cycle. As far as this game goes, the Titans are 2.5-point dogs at home. I think that's adequate. I think they should be dogs. They're playing Will Levis and Malik Willis combined, apparently, according to media outlets. Not a good look.
You know that thing that never works? That thing?
Yeah.
That one that just never worked ever.
I don't know if they say this in Australia, but they say if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have 0 quarterbacks. So
I have heard that.
I love that saying. So I don't like the Titans in this game. I think they'll struggle to move the ball. I could see them getting a oopsie or gimme touchdown, something weird, fluky, or maybe on defense. But I think the Falcons will handle the game. Tyler Algier will get 45 carries. And then the fantasy community will blast Arthur Smith out of a cartoon cannon into the sun. I'm looking at disgusting. This could have been a dynamite game for me personally. I'm so sick of the Falcons.
Yeah.
I'll give this score. I'll say 20-9 Falcons.
Yeah, I've given up on the Falcons until they get rid of Ritter. He's just like, we talked about this at the start of the season where it was like Ritter, he's not amazing, but he
He's
won't
been
make
fine.
mistakes. He protects the ball, but he doesn't anymore. It's like he's making these dumb moves, throwing
Yeah.
up 3 in games. So I'll take the Falcons 17-10 because I think they'll just run it down the Titans' throats, and I think Will Levis, I think he's going to get hung out to dry a little bit here, to be honest with you. Not that the Falcons' defense is amazing, but he's a prospect that needs work, and getting to week 8 as a third string is not getting work. So, Falcons 17-10.
I think that's exactly. And I think that means we're both taking the over. And I'm absolutely nauseous even talking about it.
Wait, is it 17? The over is 35. You mean under?
That's what I meant. I did mean under.
Yeah.
We're both taking the under.
And 100%. All right. So these are I actually should have swapped these games around because the Pats and Dolphins are your rivals.
Hey, you can feel free to talk about them, man. I get sick to my stomach talking about these teams. So,
well, let me paint you a word picture for let me put you in the mind of someone.
Please.
Right? So if I can just get into character for a second.
I love
You're
it.
sitting there and I'm like, actually, I need something.
Method acting.
Yeah, this is absolutely method acting, I think, and I've got some music to go with it. I had some music to go with it. Just dropping the ball. Producing you.
Scab producer's still the go to me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add it. Okay, I need some sad music to go with this.
Okay.
All right. So, all right. Let me start by saying, earlier, I am this person now.
Okay.
Coming. Earlier this season, I went up against Tyreek Hill, and he absolutely stripped. It was embarrassing, but I put it behind me, and I thought, you know what, this is the end of that. I can put it behind, and I can get right. And then, because I'm JC Jackson, I get traded to the Patriots, and all of a sudden, I'm up against Tyreek Hill again.
Poor guy.
And this is just like I'm sitting there looking in the mirror, just like how. But JC Jackson, if you're watching this show, which I assume you are, Tyreek Hill is banged up, but it doesn't matter a darn thing. I think the Pats got lucky shocking the Bills. I think it was, and I know this is another division game, but historically the Dolphins have owned these division games. Even when the Brady era was here, I don't know if you remember, but the Pats always dropped a Week 18 game to the Dolphins or Week 17 game. It was really weird. Don't overlook the fact that the Pats got absolutely fleeced 2 weeks prior for the 2 weeks prior. So that win against the Bills, and I'm sorry to bring it up because I know that hurts you.
I'm deep in my bones. I'm hurting right now.
That was a Trojan horse for New England fans. Don't let them into your castle because the Pats are about to get SM-oked. So I will say, I'm actually, I'm going to give them even less. I'm going to change my score, 31-10. How's that?
31-10. I like it. I think Miami will get a lot going. I think Buffalo had some really sus plans to attack the Patriots defense. I don't think it was Ken Dorsey's fault. There was some lacking execution. There was some, bag fumbles against the Patriots for the Bills. And man, the more we talk about these losses, Adrian, Josh Allen second half meltdown against the Jets, London weird, whatever you want to call it, against the Jaguars, and now this Patriots game where they end up taking the lead with 1:50 and they let Mac Jones go be Peyton Manning. The fact that the Bills are
Mike Gesicki pops up off his milk carton and he's
the fact that the Bills are 5-3 right now and still in position to be first place in this division with one more win. I'm disgusted knowing that they lost those games, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the NFL. So I'll agree with you that the Patriots they were paper tigers coming into this matchup. I don't think that they have much smoke outside of the smoke that will be them from Dolphins. So I think I will agree with you. I think it'll be a big scoring game from the Dolphins. I think I'm looking at a game. I'll say 41. I'll say 13.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a big game for the Dolphins as well. I'm with you on this.
Yeah.
All righty.
Saints at Colts. Is this me?
This is you.
All right. I one of my favorite NFL traditions is I have a Buster at my job who him and I are both degenerate gamblers and we just throw money down every shift. It's like a little multiplier. I either walk away with a little more money or I walk away with a little less based on how things go
Love it.
between myself and Marcy. And he is Spanish, so he pronounces all the teams in their Spanish pronunciation. So this game I'm going to call Santos Cotos. And this is
Marcy
another one of my Marcy's the goat.
taking heat. Love
Oh,
it.
he's awesome, dude. Yeah, I gotta call my boy Marcy out. He's worse than me. He's a bigger degenerate than me. This is gonna be a tough matchup here. I like this game. I actually think this game's gonna be sneaky fun to watch. Everybody hates Derek Carr. He's the new Vogue player to hate on this year. And I get it. He's looked pretty atrocious at times. I still absolutely love him, even though he sucks. I think he's one of those players that you could always do worse than, but probably could always do better than as well. So I'm not going to throw any negative light on Derek Carr like the media is doing. Obviously, he's got to play better, but I think he's banged up. I don't love the screaming at Chris Olave when he gives up on routes, even though Chris Olave is giving up on routes. That's very clear. The Colts, meanwhile, are one of the friskiest teams in the NFL. Plucky, as you've deemed those teams.
Love a good plucky team.
We love a plucky team. They don't give up easily, and they were in a shootout last week against the number one defense in the NFL. Nobody had that on their bingo cards. Going for almost 80 points, which is one of the highest totals in the NFL this season. Can't be the highest given that Miami freaking dropped a 70 bomb. But that being said, I do think I like the Colts in this game. I think it's strength versus strength because the Colts are pretty explosive and the Saints have a pretty good defense. I just don't think the Saints will get enough going against the Colts on offense. I have little to no faith in Derek Carr, even though I did just say I like him. I still think he might.
Not going to throw any negativity. No,
I think they might be right about him sucking, but I can't personally say that for my brand because I've been his lone defender. So I will give the Colts the win here, and I will give the Colts the win here. We're back in normal score land. I'll give the Colts the win here. I'll say 24-16, our favorite.
We're really on par here with our scores.
Yeah.
Kevin, that I love to prep with before we get into the show, and I take some notes of things.
Oh yeah, you're borderline neurotic, I'd say.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's it's a sickness, but I'm getting through it. But I have one note for this game, and it is referencing that the Gardner Minshew shimmy when you ran that ball in last week. I don't know if you caught that, but I was like,
That's
Minshew
awesome.
feeling himself. He's one of the better backups in the league, I think, maybe behind Brissett. So I think the Colts will take this. The Saints have got a great secondary. They've had a stat last week that I didn't drop, which is they have kept teams under 250 yards. Don't misquote this. I think the last 32 games straight.
Oh my word!
Quarterbacks under 250 yards. I might see if I can pull up that just to drop it later. But so I think they might give Minshew some trouble, but I still think the Colts will take it away. 24 you said 24-16. I'll say 23-18.
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. All right, Age Texans.
Let's roll.
Panthers. That's you, right?
I just took your team.
Hey, I'll let you have them, just like I let you have the East, man. You see how charitable and equitable
you
I am?
You are a champion. You are a champion amongst men.
Hey, that's you. That's you, brother.
All right, so we've got pick number 1, Bryce Young versus pick number 2, CJ Stroud, and pick number 3, Will Anderson. CJ Stroud coming off probably one of his worst games this season. Bryce probably coming off one of his best, but I don't think that's going to go that way. Texans should take care of business here because overall, Stroud's just been the better QB. Like, I mean, we can all agree, take away the stats, take away all that, just making decisions. His poise, his confidence in the pocket. And I keep bringing this up because I think it's just so crazy. And I think it's so underrated that Bryce Young can't QB sneak. I think the size matters so much. And I feel like teams should stop going for this. As a vertically challenged man, I understand. And I want my short brothers to get everything that they deserve.
Short kings.
And my son is in the bottom 30% of height for his age. So, and I want him in the NFL.
Bro, he is 0 years old. Give him time.
Yeah, he's literally 0 years old.
He will course correct.
But I think that the physical traits matter so much in this game. But anyway, that's a higher level comment. I think that CJ Stroud's probably going to have a better game here. Carolina's defense is just at the bottom of most statistical categories, they are sitting at 30, 31, or 32. And whereas the Texans D has D'Amico Ryans. They're not the best defense in the game, but he's got them correct.
Oh yeah,
They've allowed the second fewest points per game
well
in the
coached.
league. Yeah, very well coached. So I think that the Texans win here. I think Stroud throws a passing touchdown, which ties him with Deshaun Watson for a rookie record of touchdowns in a row, touchdown games in a row.
Yeah.
And I think 27-19.
27-19. I like it. I'm gonna ride with my boys. As you know, there was no chance in hell I would
Always.
ever pick against the Texans. I have picked them almost every week. I think the Texans against the Panthers have a very good chance to make a statement. Nico Collins has been great. Tank Dell's coming back, should be healthy. I think Tank Dell's gonna have a nice little offensive output in this game. I think CJ Stroud. I'd like to see Damian Pierce get going. This is a good matchup
Mm.
for him. I think
I
I'll
thought
take.
he'd be a fantasy darling for what it's
Me
worth. He
too. He's
really
been a little.
hasn't delivered. Yeah.
Well, Devin Singletary's breathing down his neck, man, and you know I love me some motor. So, I think this is going to be a nice game for the Texans. Hopefully, Damian Pierce. I'm going to smash him, and if he doesn't smash in this matchup, he's going to start riding some benches for me.
Love it.
But I think I'm going to give the Texans the win here. I'll say 27 to 14.
We're pretty in sync today.
Oh,
I
dude,
like it.
lockstep, baby.
Alrighty, what's up next? This is your boys.
Oh, let's go. Browns at Seahawks. Seahawks are 3.5-point home favorites. The over/under. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Is 38 points, Adrian, for a team featuring the offense that we expected out of the Seahawks, and I believe a third-string quarterback. No, PJ Walker's still playing.
Yeah, PJ Walker's playing. Watson's out.
Mamma mia. Okay, I think this game is going to come down to, can the Seahawks get their passing attack going? We did see an opportunity for the Colts to exploit the Browns through the air last week. So if the Seahawks can find the same luck, maybe they can have a little get-right game. I think JSN is a sneaky play this week. I think he'll have a nice little game. DK has been banged up. Lockett's been banged up. Really, the whole Seahawks team has been banged up. No Ken Walker, we're thinking. We're thinking Ken Walker doesn't play in this. So it could be Charbonnet season, which would be really interesting. You know, Charbonnet was really, really touted coming out of the league. People hated that landing spot for him because they knew that him and Ken Walker would cut into each other's touches. So kind of a weird situation. Meanwhile, I don't really see the Browns getting much going. The Seahawks defense is better than people think it is. I think the low scoring affair is close to what's going to happen, but I think maybe both teams will be a bit friskier than we thought. I'll say Seahawks win this game. I'll say 24-12.
24-12. See, you know what's weird? I find the over under and I find the line disrespectful. I feel like the Browns are just like, all right, yeah, PJ Walker, I get that, but the Browns defense is just out of its mind. Miles Garrett is, in my mind, Miles Garrett is defensive player of the year at the moment.
And he won them that game against the Colts almost single-handedly. So
yeah, he is just such a difference maker. I'll take the Browns here. I'm going to take them 27-21. I think I'll go the over by a lot. I just think like even Denzel Ward is shutting people down. I get another crazy stat that I read. I can't remember it, but he's against man coverage in Denzel Ward. He's just like producing the worst QBR rating. I can't remember what it was. It was terrible. So yeah, I'll go the Browns here.
And what's the score?
I will say 27-21.
Okay. Here we go. It's a big one right here.
And I had all my prep on Sam Darnold, and then Purdy clears concussion protocol. Look, you know what? Purdy got looked to make uncomfortable last week, but he also still throws some dimes. I don't know, like if you watch it, there's some throws he makes, and I'm just like, this guy is the last pick in last year's draft. How is he making these throws that are just amazing? Yeah, just amazing. So they're coming off a loss, the Niners, and I think that they're going to be angry. I think, but I probably said the same thing last week. I think that both teams limited Christian McCaffrey, and I think that was probably the difference maker. I don't see Captain Lou and his defense doing the same thing. They're ranked 23rd in run defense.
You're seeing a big game from CMC.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a huge one. If you've got him, like in the first 5 weeks, if you had CMC, you were winning your fantasy game. If you've got him here, you're winning your fantasy game. Or fantasy matchup.
Yeah, you can say game, fantasy game.
Okay, right.
Fantasy matchup, fantasy. Yeah, fantasy.
And I know I'll give the Bengals their flowers in a second. The only other one that I want to talk about, Fred Warner. Like, I don't know if you've been watching these last few games. Fred Warner to me is probably the best linebacker in the league at the
Oh
moment.
yeah, since Matt Milano's injury, nobody's flashed like Fred Warner.
There's a few linebackers that come to mind that I think about. Like, if you take them out of the team, that really changes the entire defense. Matt Milano is absolutely one of them in the
Yeah,
Bengals. So the Bills, I'd say, would have another win at least, if
I
not
agree.
two, with Matt
I agree.
Milano in that lineup.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Even Roquan Smith for the Ravens, he's been
Roquan
playing
Smith, I was
fantastic.
gonna say, is a name you got to
Yeah,
bring up there. Uh,
Levante David, probably
yeah,
another one that
Levante
really.
David.
So
Yeah,
I think Fred Warner is just balling out, and I think he's going to have a really, really big game here. The Bengals, on the other hand, it's really hard to call. Like, I mean, they sometimes they seem like they've got right, then they'll have a terrible game. And
yeah.
Jamar Chase with his almost always open, loved the 7-Eleven chain. That was fantastic. I don't know if you saw that. He said, "I'm always open," and then he had a chain that had 7-Eleven on it, and I thought that was amazing.
Dude, he's so funny, bro. I really like Jamar Chase.
Same, and I
His
think
contract is gonna be out of control. He's gonna break records.
he's real, like, just he's cocky, but in a good way. I feel like, you
He
know,
is so cocky.
I think of like maybe Jay Alexander for the Packers is cocky in a bad way. He's just overly
Yeah,
cocky.
yeah.
Whereas I think Jamar Chase has just got it going. So
But sometimes the
anyway,
difference between cocky in a good way and cocky in a bad way is just winning.
correct. And well, that's exactly it. Back it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's going to be a closer game, closer and lower scoring game. So I'm going to take the under here, and I'm going to say 19-21, the 49ers way.
Wow. Okay. Wish casting. Given that the Bengals are one of the biggest threats to the Bills in the AFC and they're the coming matchup for the Bills next week, I do really hope that the 49ers pull this one off. I just kind of think Joe Burrow might have some magic in that
Mm,
right arm of his, man. I've just seen him get counted out so many times, and I've seen his back against the wall so many times in his young career, and he always seems to find a way. I don't want this to happen, but I do. The doomsday in me, my gut feeling is that the 49ers are going to come up a little short again, and I think it's going to be 27-21, so I'll take the over. Give me Bengals.
Bengals, all right.
Begrudgingly. Put that in the
Yeah.
record. Make sure that people know I'm begrudged.
Yeah, asterisk begrudged.
Yeah, please.
You got it. All right. Let's roll.
Oh, here we go, baby. Is this me?
Yep.
Chiefs at Broncos. Broncos are 7-point dogs at home. And let me tell you right now, this is the sucker line of the week. Why are the Broncos so close? There's no chance that they're going to score within 7 points of the Chiefs. Go bet the house. Go bet the farm. Go mortgage your future on this game. The Broncos are not going to score within 7 points of the Chiefs. I don't care what Vegas says. They're cooked. They suck. And the Chiefs, yes, they've had the Chiefs number a little bit. I think it'll be tighter than we think it's going to be, but it's not going to be 7 points tight. That's a stupid line.
Can I mention one thing?
Please.
I just saw today that the National Weather Service has predicted a temperature high of 23 degrees and I can't remember what the inches of snow was, but it's going to be an inclement weather game for sure. And I think that makes it
and snowy game.
Yeah, I got in as soon as I saw that. It looked like the line, the over under hadn't moved, so I went in and took the under because I feel like this is going to be a disgusting game.
My brother, it is October. I do not want to hear about 14 inches of snow. That is not right. I still think the Chiefs. Well, maybe don't mortgage your house anymore. I take all that back.
I think it'll be a low scoring game. Yeah, it is. It is the great equalizer.
It's an equalizer. So I'll say I'll still take the Chiefs, and I would still bet on them to cover, but it's a little riskier with the weather. So I'll say Chiefs 24, Broncos. I'll say 9.
Yeah, well, I had 28-18 the Chiefs away. Another fun fact: Mahomes is 16-0 in road division games. 16-0.
He's unbelievable. Every time I watch him play football, I don't know about you, but everybody knows, my whole family, all my friends, they know that because he has beaten the Bills in the playoffs twice, I have like a little hatred for him. But when I watch him play football, I can't help but just say every couple minutes, "Oh my God, he's so good. Oh my God, he's so special." The plays he makes. He is so good.
Like the narrative for Aaron Rodgers over his career with Packers was like, "Oh, he's got no weapons. He's got no weapons." He's always had one weapon, right? And then I look at Mahomes. Now I understand he's got Kelsey, right? So don't let me take that away. But he's also thrown a freaking Rashee Rice and Sky Moore, and he's bringing McCall Harbin back.
Justin Watson and MVS.
And with those weapons, for all the talk of like the Chiefs defense is what's winning them games, Mahomes is number 2 in completions, number 2 in passing touchdowns, number 3 in passing yards, number 5 in passer rating.
Yeah.
He is, I mean, I don't need to tell people that he's special. Everyone
Oh,
knows
he's a
Mahomes is
freak.
special, but he just makes it happen no matter what.
He's such a freak. I love watching him play football, but I hate him.
There you go, Armand. Breaking news, breaking weather reports: 6 to 14 inches of snow in
It
tomorrow in Denver.
is freaking October. Give it a rest, Mother Earth. We don't need this right now. Mother
Nah, where's
Nature.
that global? Give us some global warming, mate. Hit it up for us.
Yeah, for real.
All right, Ravens and Cardinals. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to talk about Lamar Jackson without playing this drop. He's just. Oh yeah. I'm so wrong about him. I've been so wrong about everything about Lamar. And you were the truther. You said that he was special, and I was like, nah.
He's top 5. I mean, he is. He's objectively special. He's been a unanimous MVP. He just is really playing. He's really showing us that wasn't a fluke this season.
No, and look, and the other thing is like if you think about like the trajectory of quarterbacks, when Lamar first came into the league, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he can run the ball, and then the next year they kind of worked him out, and I was like, yeah, he can run the ball, but can he pass it? Now he's just balling out, like he's passing so much better than he's running. The Ravens are ranked 6th in pass rush, and the Cardinals' offensive line just hasn't been able to stop anything. It's a turnstile. So I think the Ravens really, really get after. And I think they win in the trenches this week. So the Ravens have killed themselves, which is the weird part because it's not Lamar's fault. There's been some ugly drops. We talked about that Steelers game where there was just drop city.
Mm-hmm.
So there is Kyler is off the injury report. I don't know if you saw this. So he's doubtful for this week, but I think he'll be back next week.
Following week. Yeah.
Which is I don't know why are you bringing him back?
There's got to be something going on, like morale wise. Maybe they're trying to. Maybe the regime is trying to see if he's their guy. I can.
Yeah, it could be that. Yeah, look, they shouldn't be tanking, but yeah, you're right. The Cardinals currently top 3 rushing players is James Conner, who's injured, Josh Dobbs, who's your quarterback, and Rondale Moore. And the Ravens have been exceptional against passing. They are ranked 2nd in yards per game, 1st in yards per play. So I can imagine that they're going to try and force the run. The Cardinals are not going to be able to do it. I think the Ravens absolutely roll here. I'll say 33-20 with some garbage time.
Okay, I could dig it. Yeah, I think the Ravens are going to handle business. Cardinals have been meh ever since their frisky and plucky start. They haven't really followed up with any of that.
They did start plucky though. Like Josh Dobbs looked good.
He did. I think they're just crashing back down to earth. I'll say Ravens are going to take care of business here. I'll say 37 to 17.
Yeah. That's kind of closer to what I was thinking. I was like, no, I put too many blowouts. I feel like this could be closer.
I like it.
All righty. We're rolling. I think we can get this in a tight 60.
Let's
go. We haven't done that in a while.
Let's keep crushing it.
2 games to go.
Chargers at Bears. My best friend Justin Herbert on the road taking on Tyson Bagent, secret Bagent man. Don't really like this matchup at all. Don't know what if I'm
potential dynamite.
I naturally will throw my clown makeup on and watch all 60 minutes of this game because I'm a slave to the product, but it's going to not be fun. Justin Herbert is unfortunately proving me right about the top 5 take. They're 2-4, Adrian, and that's just not great. They're my number 1 panic button team for teams that are supposed to be contenders. And so, personally, I think Herbert is going to have his way with this Bears defense. I think if there was a get-right game, it's this. Bears are kind of looking like they're on the verge of packing it in. They did have a nice win last week against the Raiders, but that's the Raiders and Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer.
Who's just an absolute shell of his former self, which was never good. So being a shell of
which was a shell of a player.
Sucked, is not. It's like you're 2 shells removed. That's just not it.
Shell squared.
Yeah, not good. So I will say the Chargers take care of business pretty handedly here. I'll go with I'll say Chargers are going to win this game 34 to I will say 13.
Did you notice you were catching strays in the comments?
I did. I want to give a shout out to Takedo. I absolutely love you, Takedo. I forgive you for your lapse in judgment here to say this. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, the Bills have been they've fallen. Yeah, they're not the perennial AFC East favorite that they always are. They're gonna have to fight and claw a little bit. Adrian and I talked about how razor thin the margins have been in the Bills, keeping the Bills from even being in first place right now, had they just gotten a bounce in either the Jags game, the Jets game, or the Patriots game. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. Welcome to the NFL. Hopefully they correct ship. But also, Takedo echoing my hatred in Justin Herbert. You're going a little too far there, saying he's not top 10, but yeah, he ain't top 5. It's settled for me.
What was your score? Sorry.
34-13.
I look. You know what though? I think I was trying to think of like a good comp here. This Justin Herbert take you guys are on. It just smacks of this is Brandon Staley that is wasting a great back. He wasted his rookie contract, and now he's wasting him, even though they're paying him an absolute buttload.
Yep.
But you know what? Like, you know, to a lesser extent, he's a poor man's Justin Fields. Like Justin Fields has more potential than what he's been used by terrible coaching. And so this is a pretty apt game to be talking about it. I think that Herbert will roll absolutely. I think I'll echo your score. I actually had 33-16 for this.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't think the defense has improved it at all. I think Justin Herbert's just going to be able to carve them up. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
And I do not trust. It's Tyson Bagent, right? I'm not saying that incorrect.
I don't even know. It could be Bagent. It could be Bagent. I've heard it pronounced both ways.
And you know what? No offense, but who freaking cares? Because you're not going to be.
To be honest,
just
great.
Sorry,
backup.
Man.
Will be a great backup in the league. Might become a frisky future starter type player eventually, but not right now.
Yeah, I'd say the absolute ceiling for him would be like a Fitzmagic, where he just kind of jumps team to team as they need him. But
yeah, I love Armand. That's like any shot here.
Player.
Ben Johnson, head coach of the Chargers next year. Book it. We will book it, Armand.
I'll cut that clip, Armand, and if that happens, there's going to be a serious flashback.
Last but not least, one game remaining.
Let's roll.
We dominated this preview, man. Tight.
And this is talking about our Anthony Weiner's Lions. The Lions were served a slice of humble pie last week.
Tough game.
The Ravens absolutely drilled them. But as is the hallmark of Dan Campbell's team, grit is at the core of what they do, right? So I can see them. Yeah, I can see them really getting right here against the Raiders team. Where actually, you know, speaking of booking it, how about this? Josh McDaniels is not the head coach in 3 weeks.
Oh, that's bold.
How about bold.
That? He's bad. He sucks.
Terrible decision.
The worst decisions I've ever seen. It's consistent. It's every week.
But make it make sense to me, because when he was on the Patriots, he was just this like wonder kid.
Yeah.
Like I need to understand how he's such a dumpster fire.
I do really genuinely believe the disparity between some guys can be great coordinators and not great coaches. I think McDaniels is one of them. The
Nathaniel Hackett effect. I agree. So look, they're a very physical team. They've really the Lions are very physical. The only real concern here is Max Crosby, who is just playing out of his mind. He's really saved the Raiders from significantly more losses.
Yeah,
if they can shut him down, they're gonna have no problems here. Devontae, you know what? Like I don't think it's gonna happen, and I don't think we're gonna get that splashy deadline trade. But wouldn't a Devontae trade just be what you want? Like he shouldn't be on that team.
Bring
and I love that guy.
Please, I'll throw a second for him. Please
put him anywhere. Put him anywhere that they can use him, because the guy's a star. And say what you will about Derek Carr, Devontae Adams was still Devontae Adams last year. So
Takedo loves this because it means the more losses the Raiders suffer, the more likelihood they have a higher draft pick. Caleb Williams very well could be in silver and black next year.
Well, is Takedo a Raiders fan?
I think he might be. I think we're exposing the bathrobe here.
Yeah, I should note that. As a regular in the chat.
What's your score prediction?
I'm going to say 31 to Lions, 21 with some garbage time.
Damn, you got 31-21. I'm not even kidding. In my head, I said I'm saying it. I don't care what Adrian says. 30-20 Lions.
Love it.
We're locked in, brother. And this concludes another episode of the Legit Football NFL podcast. Myself and Adrian Revito are so ecstatic to have you, Takedo, you, Armand, all the amazing listeners. We had some people popping in and out. We absolutely love you guys. We are nothing without you. Adrian, any last words for the people? We don't have to wrap it up in a tight 60. If it goes to 61, the world will continue to turn.
Yeah, I do believe that. No, nothing to say. Like, subscribe, get in on legit football. And you know
Hell
what?
yeah.
We actually don't say this enough. Legit football newsletter. Get on it.
So
33,000
sick, you
fans.
guys. Subscribe
Yeah.
every day. So follow all the socials. I make a daily headline video, top 6 NFL stories. If you just want your NFL news just in a tight and compact little window, that's the way to do it.
Got to get that plug in, Kev. That's some
Gotta.
pop for you right there.
Oh, hell yeah, bro.
Mm.
Adrian Ravito, the absolute GOAT. It's so wonderful co-hosting with you, man. I'm so glad we were able to do it. The universe, they did everything they could, but just when they thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Damn right.
We keep riding. That's what we do, baby. This has been the Legit Football NFL podcast.
I got it.
Adrian's got it. And we are out.